Stop AAPI Hate, presented by Marisol and Alexis.
First interview, Rob Bronta.
Can you state your name?
My name is Rob Bonta.
Hello, Rob. My name is Trina Cooper.
Hello, Trina Cooper. Nice to meet you.
I'm going to go right ahead and ask you some basic questions. What's your age?
I am 49 years of age.
Where were you born?
I was born in Quezon City, Philippines on September 22, 1972.
Where did you grow up?
As a child, my family was always moving around, but as we moved around, we still were able to leave some roots behind. Due to my family always being able to consume themselves to a certain movement or even help around anywhere, we ended up staying a bit here and there.
Oh, okay. So you and your family were always moving around. Well, that seems a little tough for you as a young kid trying to make friends. What type of help or movement did your parents help with or do?
As a kid, it was a little bit of a trouble to make friends due to always moving around, but I always grew in and learned to deal with it and just focused on my schoolwork. Well, I was born the son of activists. As my parents say, serving people is our highest calling, and they instilled that into me and my siblings from an early age. My parents were involved in the United States farm workers movement. They worked alongside Cesar Chavez, organizing Latino and Filipino farm workers for racial, economic, and civil rights.
So would you say that your family just grew up into this placement your parents left off for you and your siblings? Are you aware of AAPI hate?
I'd say my parents knew what they were doing with us as children to grow into these strong characteristics of grown adults. I have always known the Asian Islander hate towards them, or us, I should say. Growing up as Filipino, I've always had this nudge that I wasn't welcome or even felt like I didn't belong somewhere like school, knowing I was one of the only few Filipino Americans. Throughout the years of coming of age, I've noticed that it's gotten worse and worse.
So you've never felt like you've belonged in society based on your race?
Yes, being Filipino American was a struggle, but I saw the best through things and just pushed myself harder and appreciated myself and my culture. But now that I see things have gotten worse, I've been helping with the Asian and Pacific Islander hate.
What type of help do you do with this specific movement?
Moving into Yale, I saw an opportunity to help my own. I knew I was given a chance that few other kids like me had. I had a deep obligation to give back. Then I became the first Filipino American in California to win the election for legislation. I quickly became the leader in fights for racial, economic, and environmental justice.
As we're getting to the end of this interview, do you have any words or call to action about this movement?
I'd say to contact any Asian hate prevention lines. Try to stay safe and respectful even if it may become aggressive.
Thank you, Mr. Bonta, for giving me this chance to interview you.
Yes, no problem. Thank you for having me. Interview with Manjusha Kulkarni. What's your name and what do you do for a living?
Hello, my name is Manjusha Kulkarni. I'm 50 years old. I have a career in anti-discrimination law and advocacy work.
Where did you study?
I received a Bachelor of Arts degree in the political science and a certificate in women's studies from Duke University and a Juris Doctor degree from Boston University School of Law. After graduating from college, I worked at the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Attorney General's office in my hometown of Montgomery, Alabama. While in law school, I clerked at the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, the Mexican American Legal Defense Team and Education Fund, MLDEF, and the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles, California.
What is something you reflect?
At the Southern Poverty Law Center, SPLC, I conducted legal research to challenged district-wide voting to dispute the black vote in Alabama. At the ACLU, I sought redress for Japanese Latin Americans abducted by the U.S. government during World War II. At the MLDEF, I helped to craft legal arguments to secure in-state tuition for undocumented students. The opportunities I had at SPLC and the ACLU and the MLDEF cemented my desire to pursue public interest law and specifically to work in the realm of civil rights.
What would you say defines the woman you are today?
Pursuing public interest law enabled me to continue working as a lawyer when my children were young, allowed me to work on issues about which I was passionate, and offered a number of leadership opportunities not really available to women in other parts of the legal world.
What has been your experience?
In my experience, public law interest firms and nonprofit organizations have generally had more reasonable work requirements than law firms, requiring only 40 hours a week rather than 60 or so exact at a private firm.
How did you find out about AAPI hate?
Gisuki was the one who introduced me to the AAPI hate movement. I consider her a role model because of all the work she's done and things she's been able to achieve.
What do you contribute?
I am the executive director of the Asian Pacific Police and Planning Council. We created Stop AAPI Hate website, a place where Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders could file first-hand accounts of racism they had experienced. The types of incidents that have long haunted our communities but gone unreported by government agencies and the media and unnoticed by others.
Thank you for watching.